You're stuck at home in quarantine. 5 o'clock. Why not have a drink with me?
Hey there, happy Quarantiki Wednesday! Hope everybody is doing well on this hump day, getting through the week. I had a busy day at work today. The day kind of flew by because there's so much going on, but that's good to be busy, I suppose. And yeah, my week has been thrown off a little bit. I have this like batch of deliverables basically that I create each week that are usually due at the end of the day on Thursday, but this week, because of some shifting things, they're actually due at the end of the day today, which is totally fine. It's not more work, it's just shifting around when I'm doing the work, but it is kind of messing with my brain a little bit now because it feels to me like a Thursday when really it's just a Wednesday. But tomorrow will be a little bit less busy than usual, which I guess is nice. So hope everybody is doing good. Hope you all had some margaritas and the rest of your Cinco de Mayo celebration yesterday was good. I know I had a couple more margaritas as the night wore on yesterday. Helen and I went for a nice little walk after dinner, which was nice. The weather's been really pleasant here. And we're also, our dogs have been annoying in the morning in that they have just been getting up earlier and earlier. And Dixie used to do this thing when she knew it was time to get up. She was all excited about breakfast, where she'd come into our bedroom and just like tippy tap all around our bed and sort of pant and tippy tap until we got up, which was super annoying. But now she doesn't even come downstairs anymore. Now when the dogs decide that it's time for breakfast, they literally just stand in the kitchen and just start barking. They just start barking. And you can't ignore it because it just keeps going on. Or sometimes you kind of ignore it and then 5 minutes pass and then... But anyway, this is getting earlier and earlier and earlier to the point where they've started getting up at like 6:15, 6:10, 6:05 the other day. We used to be able to hold them off until like 7, and that 45 minutes is a big difference. So anyway, we took them for a walk last night, and I don't know if that's what it was or something else, but they let us sleep in a little bit this morning. So maybe that's something else that we can try to wear them out a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, super excited to enjoy some tiki this evening. I'm going to be making one of the 8 essential tiki cocktails, the Tiki Classic Cocktail Dr. Funk. And Dr. Funk has the distinction among tiki cocktails of being really the only one that was actually created in the South Pacific. Tahiti and all around there. Now, all of tiki sort of idolizes, Hawaii, South Pacific, Polynesia, that whole sort of lifestyle vibe. But the aspect of tiki that is, I think, appealing is that it's all kind of fake, right? It's all aspirational or made up, and most of the tiki cocktails don't actually come from there, right? They either come from the Caribbean or they're influenced by the Caribbean and then were invented here in the United States. But this is one that has its origins in the South Pacific, and it is a sort of a funky rum drink called Dr. Funk. And I'd always assumed that it was named after the fact that you're supposed to sort of use a funky rum and it has some absinthe in it to give it some more interesting character, and it's just a funky drink. Turns out there was actually a doctor named Dr. Funk, and he would make an early version of this cocktail, which evolved into what it is today. So it is named after him. He just happened to also be the doctor of Scottish novelist Robert Louis Stevenson, author of such novels as Treasure Island and The Curious Incidents of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Is that what it's called? Something like that. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting little tidbit. And so he sort of started this early iteration of the drink, which was absinthe, some lime juice, and some seltzer. And it was meant to be just a nice, refreshing cocktail for a hot summer's day in the South Pacific. And, people loved it, right? They were drinking it in Tahiti and all the other islands out there. And some people started adding some grenadine to it. That's going to remain an ingredient to this day. And then as the tiki bars this was probably in the 1920s, right? So this is during Prohibition, this is going on, and this drink is becoming more and more popular, that when the tiki bars started opening in the United States after Prohibition ended, Dr. Funk ended up on the menus of all of these tiki bars, both Don Beach's original tiki bars, Don the Beachcomber, but also Trader Vic, who's the one who sort of came after Don the Beachcombers, but spread the popularity by opening a lot of tiki bars, where Don Beach's really was the original, but wasn't as responsible for the spreading of it because he was just worried about his own bar. Trader Vic apparently went to him and saying hey Don, why don't we team up? I can help you open some bars. I think you have a great idea. Don's like, no, I'm all set. And then Trader Vic ended up being all right, I'm gonna do it anyway. And he would apparently go to the bar and order the drinks and watch the bartenders really closely to try to figure out all the recipes. And he was a visionary in and of himself, both for opening all of these tiki bars and spreading the popularity across the country, but he's also responsible for a lot of his own original drinks also, as we talked about when we made the Mai Tai a few weeks ago. So, the other exciting thing that I did for this was I made a homemade batch of grenadine today. So excited to use this as one of our ingredients. Grenadine turns out sweetened pomegranate juice. And so I took a cup of 100% pomegranate juice, the POM bottles, the big curvy bottles that you get in the refrigerator section at the grocery store. Took a cup of that, added a cup of sugar, heated it up on the stove, and then you can stop there and it'll be great. I also, after reading some different advice and recipes for grenadine, added two sort of secret ingredients. One is a pomegranate molasses, which I just added maybe couple tablespoons of. Ingredient you can get in a lot of Middle Eastern and Mediterranean type grocery stores, or buy on Amazon.com. And then I also I put in a few drops of orange blossom water, which I have had for a long time, and you only use a couple drops at a time, so it lasts a really long time. I've been a little worried about my orange blossom water going bad, but I don't know. It seems fine still. It still has a really pungent scent. So I don't know. I'll swap it out at one time, but it's the sort of thing where I literally use 6 drops a year if I'm making a recipe like this, or if I'm making a Ramos Gin Fizz, and that's about it. So it's hard to keep it stocked, considering I use it so infrequently. Anyway, let's get going with this drink. I'm going to start by juicing my lemons and limes. This has both of them. And I just need a half an ounce of each. And so I am going to just juice straight into my jigger exactly what I need. Now this will probably be a full lime, maybe a lime and a half. These are pretty small limes to get pretty close. To get half an ounce, and then the lemon will have no problem getting half an ounce from this. I'm almost all the way there with just half a lemon. Perfect. I was a little bit short on the lime, so I'm going to take a second lime and just give it a little. Yeah, that should do it. All right. What do we have in the chat today? Looks like we have got Keith, Olivia, Megan, Tom. Hope you all are having a good hump day, good Wednesday. Hope something is new. Dad, I tried calling you earlier today. No one was home, don't know where you'd be. Hopefully you were out golfing, but there's nowhere to go. I'm planning a grocery store run, probably for Friday. That'll put me at 10 days since my last one. But we're starting to hear apparently of problems in the supply chain for meats making its way. I read in the New York Times saying that Costco apparently is limiting people to 3 beef, pork, or poultry items per customer. I didn't see the details of that. I don't know if it's like 3 of one type of thing or 3 total meat products. Not sure. We'll find out on Friday. And then Colleen, my sister, said that apparently her butcher in Bloomfield, Mastriano's, was saying that prices they're expecting to go up next week because shortages are starting to make their way through the system. So that'll be interesting. We will see how that goes. So I've got my lemon and lime juice in there. Now I'm going to add a 1/4 ounce of grenadine. Smells real good. I'll give it that beautiful color too. I like pomegranate juice. I'm just drinking it straight. It has that really nice sort of astringent, bitter flavor to it. Love it. Love it. Next we're going to have 1/2 ounce of Demerara simple syrup. Got that going on. Like Devin joined us in the chat. How you doing, Devin? Half an ounce of our Demerara simple syrup. Remember, that's a rich simple syrup, so it's 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. And this particular Demerara syrup is, of the sugar component, 1/4 of it is Demerara sugar, and the rest is white granulated sugar. Way too sober for this, thanks. Haha! Very nice, Devin. Well, there's usually a solution to that problem. I wonder if you can find it. We'll see. Great. Now is the part that I'm a little nervous about, which is the herb saint or absinthe. Again, this was originally made with absinthe in the South Pacific. And then for a while, people were making it with herb saint, especially in the tiki bars through the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, until absinthe was legal again in the United States. And so I have an absinthe here. Then this is another thing that, like, again, it's such a strong flavor that you use in such small quantities that it lasts a really long time. I've had this bottle of absinthe for probably, 8 years, maybe more. And look how full it still is. So, I usually just use it for, to like spritz on the top of my drinks. Making a Sazerac, you rinse the glass, toss it out. Anyway, I don't want to overdo this, so I'm going to do a scant 1/4 ounce. Because this is the classic original component. It started without even any rum in it. When they were drinking these originally in the South Pacific, there was no rum. And of course the tiki bartenders realized, let's add rum to this, it'll be great, like all things tiki. And it turned into this great drink, but it was essentially an absinthe cocktail. So I also don't want to shortchange the absinthe, but might have a lot of licorice flavor coming through on this. And then finally, we've got our rum, and so we're going to use 2 1/4 ounces of rum. And they say you're supposed to use a really nice funky rum for this. And in fact, the Smuggler's Cove book that I'm using for this recommends a black pot still unaged rum. And there's this one in particular, Hamilton, that is kind of iconic for this drink, which I don't have in my local liquor store, doesn't carry. So I haven't been able to get my hands on that. So I'm trying to reconstruct what sort of rum combinations I'm going to use to get this funky rum flavor. And when you want funky rum, the first thing that you should think of is Smith & Cross, which is this Jamaican rum, which is super funky and vegetal and really good. But then you also want to bring some like sweetness to it. And so I'm going to use mostly the Smith & Cross, but I'm going to mix in a little bit of the Myers Black Rum to get the real dark molasses flavor there. So we need a total of 2 1/4 ounces. So I'm going to do 1.5 ounces of the Smith & Cross. And then 3/4 ounce of the Myers rum. When I poured that in, I got a big whiff of the absinthe, which was pretty cool. And then I got a big whiff of the funky rum, which was also pretty cool. All right, and there we go. So this was originally like I said, a South Pacific drink where they were making it with absinthe, lime, and seltzer water. And so this has 1 ounce of seltzer as an ingredient in the recipe. Although it says to then add all of the ingredients to the mixer tin and blend it, but I don't want to add the seltzer and then shake it all up, right? So I think I'm going to just shake everything and then I'll top it with 1 ounce of seltzer at the end. I hope that's right. So I need ice. So I'm going to actually grab my ice and we're going to do mostly crushed ice and then a little bit of full cubed ice to really like agitate for the mixing process, which is really good. And then this is just an open pour without any straining. So I'm going to crush a little bit of ice right here. Favorite way to get out some aggression is to crush some ice. So I'm going to take about 5 cubes, put it in my Lewis bag. Looks like we maybe have Eric in the house. Hello, Eric. 5 cubes. Flip it over. And happy Tiki Wednesday. Lovely. Pour this right on in there. And then I'm going to add a couple more cubes. And let's shake. Hey, Helen.
Hi, Ryan.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Man, I can smell that from here.
Smell the absinthe? Do you like the licorice?
I do like the licorice.
We'll see.
I was gonna say it smells like anise.
There you go.
Get an idea.
I'm gonna pour right into this nice double old-fashioned glass. See that beautiful color. And I think one of my regrets is that we don't always just have a pineapple.
That's one of your regrets.
I
is
wish
it?
that we always just had a pineapple. So one of the garnishes here would be like a nice pineapple frond. There's no pineapple in it. I don't need it for anything else except the frond. But it's such a nice garnish.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe one day we can move to a tropical location and we'll have pineapples whenever we want.
Feels doable to just always have a pineapple.
From my understanding, so, family story, my mom was always trying to grow something. on the windowsill, which is an habit I've continued as an adult. But I feel like she would try and start pineapple tops and avocado pits, and there was always something that was going to grow into something, but it never really did.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that maintaining a supply of home pineapples is really realistic.
I wonder if there's a company that would just send us a pineapple a week.
I'm sure there is.
Every Monday we get a pineapple. We have
How
pineapple.
about
Sounds good.
you pay me $20 and I'll go buy you a pineapple
Oh.
every week.
How much is a pineapple?
They're one of those things that
$8?
Whoa. no.
$4?
No. Well,
$2? $12?
I think they're. I can't remember if they're sold
In the
by
chat,
weight.
everybody tell me how much a pineapple is. How much
Would you like to hear the answer? Or would you like to
Do
keep
you know? Yeah, I've
pontificating
been
on
waiting.
that?
I've been guessing. You know, tell me if I'm right or not.
I'm not sure if they're sold by weight or by individuals, but I generally feel like I see them at like $2.99 to $3.99.
A pound or for the...
That's what I'm saying, is I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because I also don't think that there's a wide, like... I feel like there's not a big range of weights for pineapples, right? They're all probably...
Yeah.
About the same weight.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
I'm going to say $8. What do we got? Devin's got $45, but in Hawaii they're $15. Tom's saying $3.99. Oh, Tom
Your
the
dad
produce.
would know, yeah.
Tom Kelly,
Okay,
is
the
that
expert.
is that per pineapple or per pound? And what is the average weight of a pineapple?
I forgot your dad is like
I know.
the perfect person to ask
Is
this
the
question.
produce expert. Well, we're gonna try this drink. It's a beautiful drink. Do you see that nice ice in there? The crushed ice, the nice color. I've got my false idol tiki stir, and then also, speaking of pineapples, this nice little pineapple mixer. Let's give it a go. Ooh. Ooh. So I was really worried this was going to be too absinthe intense, and I don't think it is. I think the grenadine really evens it out. You get a little bit of that flavor in here. You got the funky rums, but not too funky. This is a good drink.
Nice.
The Dr. Funk. Do you want to give it a try?
Sure. That's what I showed up for.
You can also get a straw.
I just came down here to talk about the price of pineapple.
What else do we got in here? It's a dollar sign, not a 5. Oh, $4. Okay. And in Hawaii,
That makes a
they're
lot more
$1. Thank you, Devin. I thought 45. You said you were sober, but then you're calling pineapples $45 each. $4 and $1 in Hawaii. That makes sense. Very good. And Tom Kelly saying per pineapple. All right.
Per pineapple. All right.
I think
So,
we can start a pineapple budget.
Okay.
Okay. We'll talk about it offline.
I don't mind getting a pineapple. I just don't think the longevity is like what you're expecting.
You don't think it'll last a week?
Depends on if you cut it up or not. Like, you only want it for the top? Because the top is like trash.
No, I love pineapple.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite fruits.
Okay. That reminds me that we never
Juice,
finished watching that weird
taste.
show on Hulu. Do you remember that?
No.
About it was like Epicurious, and it was like 5-minute episodes
Oh,
of
yeah!
like a bunch of random people trying to cut up some vegetable or fruit, and then like a chef at the end doing it the correct way. And I feel like the pineapple episode was
Is there a pineapple
real
up
hard
there?
to
Yeah.
watch.
What was that on
Yeah.
Hulu? Did
I think
anybody
it
else
was
see
Hulu.
this?
Yeah.
They go to a random mall, get 50 random people off the street, and then put them all in front of a camera and say dice this onion, do this pineapple, slice this avocado, just all these random little tasks. And they're 4-minute episodes of these people in varying skill ranges. Some of them are fine and know how to do it, and then some of them are totally clueless.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. But I did learn the correct way to slice up a pineapple because I was paying attention.
Yeah.
For it.
And they give them access to the crazy coring tools and all of that.
Well, I think that's part of it. They
Yeah.
they dazzle them with kitchen equipment.
Yeah.
Because it's like a pile of all this different stuff you could use.
Right. Devin's disappointed.
Aw.
Sorry, Devin.
Don't be sad.
I mean to disappoint you. Megan has seen it. Megan's saying it's very frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
I agree.
If you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People should know how to cut an onion. It's crazy.
Yeah. probably do now.
50 people down. 320 million to go.
It's all like half the memes I see are like New Yorkers complaining about having to cook for themselves. So, people are learning.
So I've been drinking this straight. I totally forgot about the seltzer. So in the recipe is 1 ounce of seltzer on top. So that's just gonna eyeball it probably. Yeah, I'll measure it out. It'll last a little bit longer now. That's a slight bit of effervescence.
Good though. I don't think I commented on my opinion, but it is.
What's your opinion?
Once again, it's like it's such a good mixed drink because it
Right.
doesn't taste like any one of its individual elements.
That's
Like
right.
it tastes like its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't taste a lot of absinthe. I don't taste any rum really.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of citrus, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Dr.
delicious.
Funk, one of the 8 essential exotic cocktails.
Nice.
It's 5 o'clock. Why not have a drink with me?
Cheers, everyone. Have a great night.